is going to be the Vikings quarterback next year. This is Tom Pelissero. That is Ian Rappaport. I'm Andrew Siciliano. This is Up to the Minute live from Indianapolis. Zimmer said they haven't, Tom, yet figured out which direction they want to go. He's playing coy, isn't he?
To a degree, but money is a big part of this. He also spoke to a small group of reporters. I was there this morning before his podium session, and the way he put it was, I've told Rick Spielman and everyone else, we need to be really careful that we remember how we've been a good football team. We've played really good defense. In essence, saying we need to make sure we have resources to keep that nucleus together. They've got guys like Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr, Daniil Hunter. They've got to be able to pay those guys. It's almost as if he's sending the message here that we know that everybody wants to talk about Kirk Cousins. We know everybody wants to talk about getting that A-level type of quarterback, but there's other reasons that we've won football games with all those different quarterbacks we just saw listed.
Yeah, and if there's two things to take away from this, I would say the first thing is Mike Zimmer is not going to provide clarity on anything. With one thing we know over the course of the past several years, he is not going to tell us about his quarterback situation. I didn't expect to get very much, and in the end, I did not get very much, except for the fact that they still do really like Sam Bradford, and I would expect him to be in the mix in some form or fashion. The other thing that we learned, they're not going to be the highest bidder on Kirk Cousins. I'd be very surprised if they offer Kirk Cousins the most money. He preached fiscal responsibility. They are not a team that throws money around. They run the football team like a business. I think they have a very good shot at Kirk Cousins, but I don't think they're going to win a bidding war.
They also believe this is a team that quarterbacks should want to come play for, because when you've won football games with all those different guys, that shows you. You can come in and have success playing in Minnesota.
Like I said, number one total defense, number one scoring defense. You have wide receiver pieces. You have a tight end. You have running back pieces. We spoke earlier of Dalvin Cook well on his way to recovery to be ready for the start of the season. Do we think that Cousins would go there if the money isn't the same as perhaps someone else may offer?
We think, but we don't know. I don't believe... I know everyone sort of laughs about the tampering rules. It sounds like the parties involved here are taking it very seriously and have not discussed money.
Because there are so many eyes on this?
Yeah, and because those are the rules, and the agent and the teams involved like to follow them. It's not always the case, but in this case, I believe it is. But yeah, I mean, as it is explained to me, money is important, but Kirk Cousins has made a lot of money.
$44 million over the past two.
Right.
He is a Midwest guy.
What does that mean?
Well, Minnesota's a Midwest town.
Oh, I thought you meant Midwest people are...
I'm not trying to suggest that Midwest people Midwest people do not value a dollar.
Right. He values a dollar, but he's been already paid very handsomely. And I have a hard time imagining Cousins saying, well, I like the Vikings, but because they offered me $1.5 million a year less than, say, the Jets, I'm going to make my decision based on that.
You're not going to get away with paying them $10 million a year less. There are limits to that.
Agreed.
But think about the issues they've had in Washington. They haven't had the defensive personnel consistently, and they had changeover with all of his offensive weaponry a year ago. In Minnesota, you have a very clear idea who the stars are going to be on your defense, and also your receivers, Diggs and Thielen. Those guys, assuming they can get Diggs' deal done as well, are in for the long haul.
Very short answer. You're in that building a lot. If they do give Kirk Cousins a massive contract, how will the other side of the ball feel? And those guys whose deals are up soon, what kind of effect would that have?
I think there would be excitement because a lot of those players, they've paid a bunch of guys. Look at how they proactively last year went out, re-signed Everson Griffin, re-signed Linval Joseph. They have no problems. That's what they want to do. They want to be a draft and develop program, get their own guys, re-sign them, give the money internally. It would be out of character for them to cut the biggest check in NFL history or Vikings history to an outsider NFL history as well. But they have done it when they've seen the need. Even last year with the offensive line, they knew they needed to do something. They paid a little more than they would have liked to for Riley Reif and Mike Remmers, but you can't tell me they have any regrets.
No. And certainly, Andrew, one thing that the Vikings have done when they want something is be aggressive. They value their draft picks, for instance. They love their draft picks, but when they needed to, they've traded up in the draft because that's the value they placed on making that trade. I would put Cousins in that category.
And when they needed to, they traded a one away as well to get Sam Bradford. That trade with Philadelphia that certainly helped Howie Roseman build a Super Bowl team a year ago. Thank you.